have a plan for getting under the cap ceiling?
Tough first question. Better leave. Plans, not necessarily. Obviously, there's some mechanics that we'll have to do to get under. We have good depth, and we'll see how the preseason game go and make some. We've got some tough decisions to make no mistake.
You mentioned that depth on defense, particularly. You have 9 NHL caliber defensemen, maybe a few more. Just what has to unfold here in the next few weeks to sort things out there?
We're just going to have to kind of watch our pairs. Like I really like the mix on D that we have between guys that are puck movers and skill guys and kind of defensive defenders. So I really like our mix with the guys that we've added, along with the guys that we had. Again, we have 9 NHL defensemen and they can all play. So we have some tough decisions, and quite honestly, right now we don't exactly know where we're going. Obviously, you have some ideas, but some tough decisions for us.
Are the guys like O'Connor and Smith who are exempt from waivers, are they at a disadvantage or a harder time making this roster just because you don't have to risk putting them on waivers to go down?
It's certainly an option, but we want to put the best team on the ice opening night that we can. So if they're part of it, we're going to try to find a way. So you look at all your options and then you start to break them down and talk them through with your staff and the coaches and make those decisions when the time is right. But it's a fair, certainly a discussion that will be part of it.
Ron, you have a couple of important players going into the last year of their contract. Any urgency to get anything done now with a guy like Tristan, or is it just something you're going to let play out over the season?
We've been talking to Jars, so we'll see where it goes. There's no real urgency there I don't think from either side, but we'll continue talking if we can get something done. I don't anticipate talking when the season starts, but who knows? So we have been talking a little bit, and we'll see where it goes.
Hextall, we asked you about Tristan last year and just your conversations with him after the tough year he had, but what was it like this year talking to him, and where do you feel he's kind of at after another tough end of last season, just in a different way?
I think Jars, just in the time I've been here, like he's kind of getting that age where he's really growing up in terms of being an athlete, maturing, and he's been through some things that you go through to make yourself a better player and a better athlete. And I think maturity-wise, Jars is in a much better place to handle things than he was a year and a half ago, and probably another year and a half he'll be even more so. So I think Jars he's grown a lot, and we're certainly happy with him.
With so many teams above the cap or close to it, does that make it tougher to make a trade? It would seem to take away some of the leverage from guys who are trying to move capable players.
Yeah, definitely. There's you guys can all look at it. There's a lot of teams over. I guess some teams you kind of wonder what they're going to do. We're obviously in that situation. As you mentioned, there's only a few suitors in terms of wanting to take on money. So it's a tough market right now. The last couple of years with basically a flat cap it's been challenging for all of us, for sure. You guys know what we went through this summer with our guys and trying to fit everybody in. So it's a tough market right now, and yes, it does make it harder to make a move right now.
Mike Sullivan, as well as the assistants, Mike Vellucci and Todd Reardon, all got extensions. In Todd's case, he got, I guess, a promotion. Just what was important about extending them, and in Todd's case, the promotion?
Well, we really like our staff. They've done a terrific job. They work as hard as any staff I've ever seen. They're really intelligent guys, and Sully, the part of managing 23 NHL players is a job in itself. So we're really happy with our staff and felt like they deserved the extensions that they got.
Ron, it's been a few years of could have won in the playoffs, maybe should have won in the playoffs. With a lot of the group back, the core left intact, just how much urgency is there to kind of move past those could haves and should haves?
Yeah, there's urgency. Every year's a new year. Like, okay, we lost the last 2 years in the playoffs, certainly since I've been here. We felt like we certainly could have won both series, but I think that's what gives you the hope that it's still there. These guys are still very good players. Obviously, with signing Tanger and Gino this summer, we felt like this group can still go on a run and do a lot of damage. So we're happy with our group. I think, like, I see Gino right now, and he's a hungry guy. It's like, wow, that's pretty good. We just signed him to a 4-year deal, and I think he's been here for a month. He looks like a beast right now, and Tanger the same. They're hungry guys. This group is hungry. Obviously, Sid, we all know Sid, so I'm really excited about where we are right now as a team. The feeling around the room, there's a lot of hunger. There's going to be some good fights for jobs, and I like where we're at. So it's hard to win in this league. It's hard to win around in the playoffs. It's certainly hard to win the Stanley Cup, but that's our mission.
Ron, you've been watching Ty Smith for a few years now. What appealed to you to make you want to bring him in, and what about your staff and the organization gives you confidence that you guys will be able to get the best out of him here?
Yeah, we liked them where I was in Philly there his draft year. All the Pitt scouts liked him. We talked about them. Went over reports, obviously scouted him. We just felt like he was a good fit for our group. He's a young defenseman first and foremost. He skates very well. He's very agile. He's got great puck skills. A lot of deception with the puck. So we felt like he's a real good fit for our group. We changed some things on the back end, and with adding Petrie and Ruda and Ty, we felt like the mix is really good with the guys that we had. So again, you got Petrie, another guy that can play in your power play. Ty can play in the power play. Petrie can kill penalties. Ruda can kill penalties. So we feel really good about our defense and the changes that we made.
Was part of the reason for going 2 years on Kapanen's new deal to give him a bit of a confidence boost heading into this season?
No, it just kind of made sense for us. He had 2 restricted years, so when you look at your ARB case and everything, that's kind of how your numbers flush out. Quite frankly, the negotiation isn't near as time consuming as some other ones, because there is an ARB number that both sides are typically pretty close. So he had 2 restricted years, and Cappy's done some good things for us. I think if you look 2 years ago, he had 30 points in 40 games, and a little bit of a down year, certainly last year, and we wanted more from him, and I think he'd tell you the same thing. So we expect Cappy to bounce back and be a productive player for us.
What's the next step in your view for P.O. Joseph?
Well, to play in the NHL, obviously, I think that's the obvious one. But I think when you're a young defenseman, there's a lot of little details in the game that make a difference. You turn the puck over, it can cost you a game. Like the little things there and I think P.O. got better last year. I think he's spent enough time in the minors now where it's time to come up and show us what you can do at this level. But he's certainly got the skill level. He's a great skater. And he had a pretty good year last year. And in Wilkes, I think the consistency part for any young player is probably the thing you battle the most.
How's a young player show that in camp as opposed to needing to show it in games?
Every day, every shift, right? Every day, every shift. Consistent effort, execution. Execution's important. If you're mentally ready and physically dialed in, you should execute. So that's how all of our players would expect every day.
In terms of just the cap crunch, is a trade still something you're exploring, or are you comfortable with this group heading into the year and you're just kind of sorted out?
Trade's certainly something that's there for, I think, probably a lot of teams that are in a situation we're in. So we'll continue to kind of look there and see if anything makes sense.
Thanks, Ron.
Thanks, Ron.